Good morning. It's another day, another morning to be able to bring to you live some important information. This is your boy again, David, aka Preacher Man, coming to you live from North Carolina. So today's topic is homelessness in America, and this is a must-watch video because right now in America there's a big thing that no one's talking about right now, and that's homelessness. And it's not just dealing with parents in homelessness, but students. And what I mean by students, elementary school students, middle school students, and some high school students. And today, and the thing that I want to talk about is when I talk about homelessness, it is very imperative to look at the keyword homeless. Um, what is homeless? Homeless means, in my own words, a place where you are in your life where you're not able to afford housing, uh, or be able to pay your bills, or be able to have a car without worrying about payments getting behind, or those evictions and things like that. Evictions, repossessions. This day and age, as people, we're living in a society where there is not enough money coming into our homes, because a lot of jobs nowadays they want to pay you $9.50 for something, for some, and there are some top jobs that's paying $9.50, some office assistant jobs, and we can't live off of $9.50. There are jobs that want to pay you uh, uh, $11 and some change, and so on and so forth. And the minimum wage right now is, I believe, 7.25. Um, I don't remember. I can't remember a time. Uh, Probably when I was in middle school. No, high school. Sorry. In my early years in college, I was working minimum wage jobs. All right. And I realized at a young age that minimum wage is not going to be able to take care of bills. Whether you're working full time or part time, it's not going to be able to pay for your bills. And as Americans, what we fail to do is we fail to hold our leaders. And what I mean by leaders, meaning your governors, meaning your mayors, meaning your city officials, meaning your president, meaning Congress, all of these folks accountable for helping us be able to generate enough income so that we're able to afford the rents. The average rent in America has went from let's I believe when I was growing up, it was about maybe rent was probably about 500 or 600 something dollars. Now rent is at an all-time high of at least 12 and up. So 1,200 and up. And the jobs you're working are not really paying you enough to cover the 12 and up, because 1,200 is just your rent, but you still have lights, you still have utilities, you still have car notes, you still have insurance, you still have all these things that need to be covered. But your biggest expense as of right now is the rent, and the biggest paychecks that people are bringing home on average is about between 9 and 1,000 on the dot. That's the average median for a lot of people that I've had since research looked at, is bringing home, and that's after taxes. So we're not going to talk about the before taxes, because before taxes it doesn't matter per se, because there are states that are charge you so much in taxes, so much in this, so much in that, and it's taking a lot of chunk of your paycheck. So when I want to talk about today, while I'm here, while I'm live, is homelessness. Right now, North Carolina, we know that Wake County, which is Raleigh, the Raleigh area, right now has seen experienced homelessness has increased by 55% over the last 5 years, and 86% over the last 9 years. So those are big numbers. Those numbers are humongous. And what I mean by that, they're so big, and there doesn't seem to be anyone tackling the problem as mayors or as governors in North Carolina. There are a lot of grants that I've heard about in in recent time, and through research and my reading and things like that. I stay in the Fayetteville area, Fayetteville, North Carolina, near Fort Bragg, and the poverty down here is big. I see on average, just passing around and going around town, I see about 5 to 9 evictions. And what I mean by that is people being served papers. Out of that, I'm not exactly sure who gets caught up in rent. I don't go back and say, okay, well, let me go back and look at these areas. I don't try to do that. I just look at it, and I look at it as a disgrace. I look at it as a disgrace because it's not all the time that parents are not doing what they can do. Okay, it's not that. But you have to work with what you have. Um, if you live in a small area, you tend to find out that most areas not going to pay you a lot. Um, Generally speaking, when I look at homelessness in America, it does a lot. It deals a lot with who you have in as your mayor, your governors, and all of these things, and who's doing what. We have the educational lottery in North Carolina, but yet every school year we're dealing with the same issues. Um, my kids go to school here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, so when I get a packet coming home in the mail talking about, hey, your kids need pens, pencils, and paper and all this other stuff, and I'm thinking, well, hey, you have an education lottery. Where is that money going? Lack of funds inside the school, lack of this, lack of that, and schools are doing fundraisers. Um, I'm not exactly sure what is going on. All right, but as people in Fayetteville and as people in North Carolina as a whole, we need to tackle these issues because we need to make sure that we are not just giving money and there's no accountability of it. And when I also look at things is in North Carolina, the car taxes is very high. The car tax is very high. And I'm going to be honest with you. If you're not in North Carolina, don't come to North Carolina. Don't make North Carolina a home state. And I will say that because North Carolina right now is generating so much money, but all of this money is just going out. It's just going. All right. No one knows where it's at. The car tax, the road tax, all of these taxes, it's so much money going out that I shouldn't have to have a bill for this. I shouldn't have to have a tax for that. I shouldn't have to see this. I shouldn't have, because what I'm saying is it's generating so much. The average car tax is $250 and up. Everybody's paying at least $200 and up. I'm telling you, unless you have one of those exotic cars where they don't have to pay, you don't pay taxes on them, things like that. Every car here in North Carolina is averaging a 250 and up. The lowest might be 200. It's outrageous here. Your state tax, when you get your paycheck, you're paying a state tax. Your state tax on average, on your state tax, depending on how much you make, is at least 200 or something up. So if you look at that, every household, let's just say one individual is at least paying $500. I will put it at least $500 just off your car tax, just off your state tax. Those two taxes alone are taking $500 out of your household. Okay, so when you're looking at jobs down here and you're trying to figure out, well, should I go work this job? Should I go work that job? A lot of times you're paying a lot in taxes just because that's how North Carolina is. And I'm going to be realistic. The reason we have a lot of homelessness in North Carolina or in the United States as a whole, all right, I don't want to just single North Carolina, but as the whole United States, is because of one, jobs out here have the slave mentality. So a lot of owners of jobs have a slave mentality. They want you to work hard for a little bit of money. Okay. They want you to come in for a little bit of money, right? They want you to miss out on your family's time for a little bit of money. All right. And what I mean by that is jobs want to pay you $9.50. They want to pay you $11.50. They want to pay you $12. All right. And they want to pay you $13. But yet they want you to work so much, but they want you to spend little time with your family. And then when you complain about your pay, because everything I look at in the world as far as inflation, everything goes up. Gas prices are almost $3. Okay. And if you have a diesel truck, in some places it's $3 and some change. So what am I saying? The homelessness in America is because of our politicians and all of our people at the top. All right, I'm gonna put it like that, point blank, period. Because why? Because they have the authority, right, to make the changes necessary so that we as people, we the people, get it right, we the people are able to live in this America, the home that everybody, all foreign nations want to come to, people in foreign nations want to come to and live in because of prosperity and because of the freedom of religion and the things of this and the things of that. But as Americans, we're not protecting our own Americans. All right, we're not protecting them because we are so greedy at the top that we want to take everything off the top and we want to give you what is left, and that is scraps to just feed your family. And what I'm about to get into and what I'm about to say is, if you maybe you know somebody who's a part of this, but nowadays people are not able to even live in a house or an apartment. They have to go live in hotel rooms, and they're paying at least $1,000 a month, which means they don't have the necessary money to go put a down payment on a house. They don't have the necessary money to pay first month's rent. And people can say what they want to say, but we all know hotels, you're paying by the day, and in some places you're paying by the week. So you don't have enough money to sustain to get your kids in a better situation. And people talk about, well, what if they're married? Well, what if they're single? Well, they shouldn't do that. Well, they shouldn't. Well, whoa. We are America, right? And we talk about how great America is, but yet we look at when we look out to foreign countries, right? Foreign countries are supporting themselves. They're doing some of the things. Yeah, we Americans will go over there and help with it, whatever. But a lot of times they have things in place because they're not so much up on a greed level. They all know about poverty. They all know about what it is to be at the bottom of the totem pole, right? But in America, we have people who has come from riches. You know, I like the lyrically Big. Biggie Smalls. He said, birthdays were the worst days, right? Birthdays used to be the worst days. He's talking about a story about birthdays, right? Now he's shipping champagne when he's thirsty because now he's able to make money and generate income so that he can do those things, right? And in America, we failed our own Americans, right? We sit in the Middle East and we fight in senseless wars. Senseless wars. It's not about weapons of mass destruction. It's not about 9/11, them bombing and hitting towers. That's not what it's about. It's about control and power. It's about America taking its ethics and morals and trying to implement them in the Middle East. Years later, you will find out, come back to my video years later once it's talked about, because you're going to find out it's all about control. It's about controlling these people in the Middle East to give us oil. It's about us putting our foot down and saying, hey, you will not stop our transport. You will not do this. You will abide by America's rules. And that's just another story within itself. But the homelessness in America has got to stop. It has to stop because as Americans, we deserve better. Period. We deserve better on period on any level. And many people don't want to talk about it. But now in days, you have kids who don't have an address. Right? You don't have an address. So when a school sends paperwork home, they don't have an address. So they're not getting the mail back. We live, when I was growing up, we lived in a society where we can have, and we were able to afford cable, and parents were afford to be able to take care of a home and take care of light bills and take care of this and take care of that. This society we live in and we're growing up in now is a society where you are at the bottom and you're one paycheck away from hitting those streets out there. Okay, and living up under a bridge or living with your family. And you're homeless if you live with your family members. Whether people want to say it or not, you're homeless because you don't have a home to live and for your own family to live in. All right. Homelessness in America is a big deal, y'all. I don't care what anybody says. Homelessness is a topic that we don't talk about a lot. No one brings to the forefront. And people want to run for mayor, governor, and they never talk about homelessness. They never talk about what it is to fight this. What are the things that we need to put in place? What are the things that we need to do? And we as a country, we're failing our brothers and sisters. In America, we it's so divided. All right, I'm gonna say it. It's a big division in America. We have all these classifications of what you live in, whether you're middle class, low class, high class, rich class, whatever. We're a divided nation. We're divided based on income. We're divided based on color of our skin. We're divided all around. And it's not going to stop. It's never going to cease to stop. But homelessness is something that we should try to stop, guys, ladies and gentlemen. We need to try to find a way to figure out this homelessness. Jobs are not paying you enough money here in America. All right. And I'm being honest with you. The way, if this stays at this pace with inflation going up, but your pay never going up, you're not gonna make it. America's gonna be in shambles. All right, America's not gonna be America. The home. Everybody's gonna try to shoot to other countries. All right, because it's no money here. Poverty is gonna soon hit an all-time high. But we, as Americans, we first off thing that we need to do is get out of the Middle East. We need to get out of the Middle East. And I'm saying this. We need to get out of the Middle East because we have been there too long. One, we've been there too long. We spent too much money. All right, taxpayer dollars are going to this war overseas where it's a disaster. We have our own problems here in America. All right, let the United Nations take that. Let the United Nations fix that problem. Let the United States go fight that war. Let the United Nations go and do that stuff. America, bring your troops home, bring them back so that we as Americans can reestablish what we need to get established and fix this thing. All right. The economy's not, everybody talking about what all these jobs are being created. Well, these jobs that are being created are not paying you all the time a $20, $25 salary. Or what I mean by salary is $20 to $25 an hour. All right. They're not paying you $56,000 and more a year. All right. All these jobs aren't. Let's be realistic. All right. But what we need to do in America is we need to fight for what is right. Getting our soldiers out of the Middle East, getting them out of harm's way, bringing them back to America, and letting them know that we are, as a nation, building for the future. All right. And it's not always about just future wars. All right. We don't need to always fight wars. All right. We don't need to get involved with other countries all the time. Their problems are their problems. America, we have our problems. I don't hear about other countries coming over here or sending money over here to help fight the AIDS epidemic in America, or to fight the cocaine epidemic in America, or to fight the police brutality epidemic in America, or to fight the injustice in the court systems in America. I mean, I'm not seeing none of that. All right. And if they're doing it, hey, by all means, thank you for what you're doing, but your money is being spent unwisely and it's unjust spent of money. You don't need to spend it. Get your money back. All right. But what I'm saying is, in America, we have to fight these things, man. We have to. Poverty is a big thing. Children going without food. That's a big thing in America. Children going without food. They're not being able to eat. Parents are fighting, and people. Yeah, we a lot of times people talking about, well, what about the single? So let me talk about the single parent homes. Okay, the single parent home where you got kids in the home, no father, father's in prison, or father's dead, or father walked away. All right, you have a mother in the house trying to make ends meet for these families, and food stamps only can do but so much. All right, bills are still due, rent still due. The more kids you have, the more bedrooms you need. And everybody's talking about, well, you can go down there and get housing. When everybody is not going to be able to afford it, be able to get housing. One, because they make too much, as the system say. What is too much money? I'm trying to figure that out now. What is too much? What are you saying? What might have been too much back in the 20th century, 21st century? It's tripled that. So what might have been too much in the 20th century is no longer too much, shouldn't be too much in the 21st. Why? Because inflation has taken that, has overridden that. Gas prices have overridden that. The cost of living adjustments have arrived above that. All right. And when we live in America and we live in a state where those things aren't, coming together wisely, that's the problems we're having. They're saying that kids who are homeless are more likely to have emotional and behavior problems and learning disabilities. All right. And they're talking about the school system works with the community. All right. Such as with the YMCAs, and to make sure that the kids have things that they need at home. Well, a lot of times we wouldn't have to deal with this if our leaders, All right. And a lot of leaders need to take leadership classes. Learn how to lead, man. Learn how to lead. That's one of the things that I took in college is leading, leadership, delegating, how to be the governor, not try to take over your whole state, right? Be over your state, but at the same time, delegate the responsibilities to those below you. And if they can't take them, fire them and bring people in who can. Because the last thing, if I was a mayor or a governor or the president, the last thing I want to hear is, hey, all these people want this and they want that. And I'm sitting here like, hey, inflation's high, but we're not going to do for them. I know that this is that, but we're not going to do for them. They should go find another job. Well, why keep telling people to go find another job when the next job is just paying them more or paying them, $1 more or 50 cents more or 25 cents more? That's not making improvements. Right? We're not making improvements, not making strides in our life, right? And then the average place, you at least need to be making 2 times or 3 times the rent. All right? 2 times or 3 times the rent. So if the rent is at, let's say, $1,324, right? And you're telling me you're bringing $1,800 home, that's not enough. You're not going to get a house. You're not going to get an apartment. You're not going to make it. All right? We're not going to give you something. So a lot of places are not having the compassion on people. All right, they're taking people to court. The things are happening to people's lives every day. Jobs are folding. Right, they're going out of business. So when you go and tell your landlord, and everybody's saying, "Well, you should have money saved up." Well, we live in America, right? We live in an economy where you're living paycheck to paycheck. The average household in America is paycheck to paycheck. Period. I don't care if you get paid 2 times a week or you get paid once a month. It is a paycheck to paycheck life that we live in America, and that needs to stop. And people are saying, well, and I always get the thing when I'm in this group discussions with people and we're talking about important things, and everybody's always talking about, well, you need to find better. You need to do this. Go to a government job. First off, let's talk, okay? Let's be realistic. Government jobs on usajobs.gov, or you can go and look and you can see that all that job thing is to weed you out, right? Because you don't meet certain qualifications, right? And if you do meet the qualifications, but most of the times you don't get the call because a lot of the federal jobs promote within. All right. So let's be realistic. You want a city job. City jobs will help you. You can get in, but if you don't meet the qualifications, you're not going to get the job. And that's point blank period. You don't get to sit in front of somebody and say, here, these are my qualifications, right? They don't get to see you and say, well, let me figure out who you are. Let me bring you in for it. They don't do that type of stuff. A lot of jobs are not doing that no more. All right. You're going online. You're going to fill out these applications. They're going to weed you out. The system weeds you out. And whoever's left, they might look at, and whoever isn't left, they're not going to look at. That's how the job market is now, right? So people are losing their mortgages. Right? People are losing mortgages. Now, in the Wake County area, a number of schools have offered pantries providing food, hygiene items, and school supplies, right? But if I don't have a house to cook this in, right? If I don't have a place to go, what am I doing, right? So America needs to take care of America. All right, we're dealing with a lot of things in America. We have so many problems going on in America that it's getting out of whack. It's getting out of whack. It's getting crazier and crazier and crazier. It's so crazy in America that there's no budget for the federal agencies, right? They're holding paychecks. They're promising you, work now, pay later. Work today and we'll pay you in the next 3-6 months, right? Come on, really, America, that's what we're doing, really? You're hurting families already hurting, and then we're hurting them worse. We're telling them to come to work when they're not getting a paycheck. That's homelessness. That leads to homelessness. Right? Because the landlord doesn't care that your federal government doesn't want to give you your paycheck. They don't care that your state official or city officials don't want to give you. They don't care about none of that, right? They want what they are told they're going to get each month, right? So those things come into play when it comes into homelessness. Homelessness is a big thing in this generation, man. And it's not funny. It's not something that we keep overlooking, America. We can't keep overlooking this. And the thing about it is we always keep voting for officials and people that have no best interest in our lives, but their best interest in their lives, to be taken care of for the rest of their lives, right? Not our best interest. When we start caring about people who gives our best interest, we'll never vote for anybody because none of them will ever have our best interest. They're always going to have the best interest in their lives and in their families' lives and their great-grandchildren's lives. And all the mess that's going on here in America just shows that nobody can be trusted at the top, right? You're one paycheck from going to the street, that they would rather you go to the streets to help you and make sure that you have what you need. It's cold outside, right? We read about people dying, sleeping under bridges, right? We hear about the homeless shelters being overfull, right? So that means somebody's not getting in. Somebody's not going to be warm tonight. Somebody's not going to be eating tonight. All of these things come into play, but yet we're in a country that wants to go to the Middle East and keep fighting a war that we could have been done with years ago. They attacked us. Okay, let's go do what we need to do, and we come back home and we start preparing for the next thing in America's future, right? And I want to be honest. Some of these old folks that's in these offices need to go ahead and go home. Let us young folks take care of this. You go home. Let us do this. You can go ahead to the house. Retire. Stop playing. Stop wasting time. Stop trying to just sit in the area so you can make rules and laws that don't make sense because you're filthy rich and you don't have to worry about your door handles falling off the front door and going to buy some nails to put them in because our tax dollar does it for you. Go home. All right? Don't worry about, you're that type of person that if the TV fell off the wall, boom, it falls off, I can go down to Best Buy and get me another TV. We don't need you in office. Goodbye. Go home. Right? What America needs is people who's going to be true and honest up front. That's what America needs. That's what America's fighting for. That's what America wants. But we're so stuck in, I got to work this 40 hours a week because if I come up short 10 hours, then I won't have enough to pay my rent, right? I won't have enough to pay my mortgage, right? I won't have enough to pay a car note, right? And then let's get on married folks. Let's get on married folks. We spend more time working, right? Trying to make ends meet so that when our money's come together, if we do put our money, everybody in America don't put their money together. I ain't mad at you. You know, sometimes they just like your spouse be like the government or like your city officials or government. They take all your money, right? So, I mean, I understand that, right? But we live in a country. We live in a country where poverty is about to go higher, right? They're building so much, right? And somebody's got to offset these costs, right? Somebody's paying, and then somebody's got to offset the cost so that they can make their money back after they pay the contractors or whoever's building, right? So all of this stuff goes into play. So when they're building up, know that taxes is about to go up because the city and the counties and the state got to get their money and revenue back, right? Not just their money, it's like a bank. I got to charge interest, so I got to make the taxes higher so I can get my money plus a little more on top, right, for the next project, right? So married people, you know, they have money coming in, but sometimes your spouse is making that $9.50 or that $7.25, right? And they're bringing maybe $800, $700, $900, $1,000 home. We break $1,000 in half, right? We got $500. So if $500 is going out for just your car note or $400, you're not left with that much to play around with, right? And then if you get paid every 2 weeks, well, you're always going to be spending at least the average household is spending $1,500. Average household spending $1,500, $2,000 a month. It's a lot of money. Right? Because they're spending on rent, they're spending on car notes, they're spending on insurance, they're spending on phone bills, they're spending on getting the necessities of life, right? And then they have kids. They have kids. America, we have kids. America, what they say, Houston, we have a problem. America, we have a problem that we need to fix. Because once it goes to shambles, which is heading down that road. We know this. We see it. We don't need somebody to say, hey, America, guys. We don't need Israel to come and say, hey, America, you guys are about to go down. We don't need Iraq to come and say, hey, knock, knock, knock. Hey, you guys are about to go down, but thank you for coming to Iraq and Afghanistan to help us fight this war. Thank you, right? They're not going to do that, right? The UAE's not going to go, knock, knock, America. Hey, get out of Middle East. Go home. Get out of Syria. Go home. Get out of Egypt. Go home. Get out of all these countries. Go home. Right? Not going to do that, right? Because as long as you're funding someone else, right, and your people is failing, countries don't care, right? We need legislation that's going to bring the minimum wage up. Not only bring it up, make it a livable cost. All right, because granted, we people have degrees. I have a degree, right? But you go out here and you're told, hey, you only make $15 or you only make $11. You're like, what is that? What am I working for? Am I working just to pay my rent? Am I working just to pay a car note? Am I working just to pay a phone bill? Am I working just to pay? What am I working for? Right? But we all know you have to have a job to survive out here. You have to have something, right? And everybody's always talking about, well, it's the better than nothing factor. It's not always about the well, it's better than nothing factor. It's about making sure you have what it is you need and have an abundance of it. Because this day and age, you can't afford house notes and cable. A lot of cable companies are losing a lot of customers, right? They give you these little promotions, $24.99 a month, right? But that $24.99 needs to go to your rent. It needs to go to a savings account. And everybody's talking about savings. And I'm going to tell you like this. Sometimes you have to save. You have to keep saving. You have to keep saving. Save more than what you have. Save, save, save. Because if you don't save, you won't have anything. All right? The homelessness in America is not going to go anywhere unless we fight it, you guys. We got to fight. We've got to fight. We've got to fight. Right? And we got to take the fight to our congressmen. We've got to take the fight to our county. We got to take the fight to our city. We got to take the fight to the White House. We got to take it all the way to we can't fight no more, right? And we have to make sure that we are able to survive, because I'm telling you, it's the worst thing is to watch kids who are homeless, man. I remember going to school when I was in elementary school, and there was this girl, I'll never forget her. Her name was Shamika. I won't say her last name, but I lived in Georgia at the time, right? I was growing up in Georgia. And this girl, she used to carry this bag, and I'll never forget it. She carried this bag, a brown bag. And I asked her one day, I said, why do you carry that bag? And I'll never forget this. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, I'll never forget this in my life. And she told me, she said, I carry this because I'm homeless. I never seen her with books. I never seen her with a pencil. I never seen her with paper. I've always seen her with a bag full of, with a little bit of clothes in it. And I asked her, I said, Shamika, I said, what is it? We were little. We were like in 4th or 5th grade, one of those grades. And I asked her, I said, Shamika, what is it where do you live? I didn't know this as a kid. You don't ask folks that now, but as a kid, we just were at your typical, hey, what neighborhood you live in? Most of the time, as kids younger, we always interacted with each other. And she said, no, I'm homeless. I grew up I'm living in a homeless shelter, and I'm going to the Boys and Girls Club. I was like, wow, It didn't hit me till I got older, right? And I started seeing life differently, I lived I'm not ashamed of it, I grew up and I see my parents and us get evicted. I seen, parents' car get repossessed. I grew up in that. I seen that, right? So my life is different than the one who grew up with a silver spoon, right? So I don't blame my parents. I hate to say it, but I'm glad I've seen it so I can know what I need to do in my life, right? And what I need not to do in my life, right? And when I seen those things, I remember I cried when we got evicted, right? And my uncle Wayne, I never forget him. He paid for us to go live so we can live into our next place, right? He helped us, right? But not everybody has that in their life. Not everybody has a helping hand when they can get on the phone and say, hey, I need, $2,000, $3,000. And somebody says, hey, I'm about to kick this $3,000 out to you, right? Everybody doesn't have that, right? It's a blessing to have that, right? But it's a blessing to also have your own when you don't have to worry about calling and pick up the phone and call somebody about something. You can call them and say, hey, I'm just calling to make sure you're doing all right. I haven't heard from you in a while, right? Make sure that your family's all right, That's what we need in America, and we won't have that until our families learn how to stop fighting one another, right? Stop fighting so much, right? Invite somebody over sometime. Get to know them. Don't be ashamed to ask for help. And that's the thing. That's number one killing the world is pride, man. We're so prideful, right? Our kids go to school. They don't want to be picked on. They don't want to be talked about because they don't have a home to live in, because they don't have a place to go to. They got to go to a hotel and live. It's real out here. And you guys make it seem like, it's not real. This is not real life, man. This is America. You're not supposed to live like that. Well, hey, America has its own problems just like any overseas country, every foreign country, right? So when I look at a lot of stuff and I'm reading a lot of articles and I'm in this, I'm in the world too. What I mean by I'm in the world, I live in America. I live in this world. All right. I see this stuff. You know, I see kids who go to school, they don't have a coat to put on. Right? Their parents are trying to make the best. They're making the best of what they have. Right? And as Americans, that's not enough. We got to help each other. You know, it was a time where I can go, my parents can go next door and borrow some butter. They can go next door and borrow an egg, or they can go next door and borrow this and that and the third. We don't live in a generation now where we can go to our next door neighbors. Hell, we don't even know the next door neighbor that lives to our right or to our left, whether we live in a house, an apartment, a condo, whatever. Right? You go on a trip, you don't even know the person who's in the next hotel room beside you. Right? You go to the beach. Most of the time, you don't talk to anybody out there. You might, if you do, it's because they walk past and they're saying hello to you first. Right? When I go places, I always say hello to everybody. I'm just an outspoken person. Hey, how y'all doing? That's just me. Right? Because I'm not that individual that feels like I'm better than anybody. Just because I own my own business, just because I do podcasting, I'm not better than anybody. I'm just like the rest of you. I want to live in America. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy life before I die. I want to go to heaven. I'm going to heaven. Right? I'm going to go to heaven when I die. Because of my belief says I'm going to heaven. I'm a Christian, y'all. And I always got to make sure a lot of things that I have is because of God himself had mercy on my life. Because I've seen things in my life that I should be living under a bridge, y'all. I should be doing things that are very crazy. But because of the grace of God, and I will say that everything that I have, everything that I am, everything that I deal with is because of the grace and mercies of God himself. Right. And I'm not saying that because you're poor, God doesn't have mercy and grace. God has mercy and grace because you're allowed to live in a country where you don't have to be killed and prosecuted because you're living on the streets. But God's grace and mercy gives others that nice heart that's on the inside that beats day in, day out, you know, to be able to help someone. And that's what it all boils down to, is helping someone. Right? At some point in my life, I will hope to go be a pastor of a church, right? And the biggest thing that I've always said even when I'm in school, I'm still in school, is that I want to be able to help people, right? And I understand we can't help everybody because they're going to go back into the same thing. But the worst thing I can do is have people, members in my church, members homeless in my church. That's the worst thing I can have. And each and every day, I am not caring about them enough to say, hey, let's do this. Let's put some money together. Let's go and get into our budget and see how much we can put towards helping this family just to get them on their feet. If that's paying one whole month's rent so that they can go, so that they can get on their feet and they can pay their rent for the rest of the year, let's do that. If we got to help, if we can help, we have people in the church who are financial advisors to can help them get their money on track. Let's do that. And when we do these things, is to do it in love, just as Christ done everything he's done in our life for love. Right? And if we get politicians who are following after Christ and their leadership is after Christ, man, what a great world to be. Right? What a great world. But we have people we have people in the world who are part of the Christian faith, but they don't follow after after Christ himself. Right? They're not following after Christ. You won't know about homelessness unless you've been there. You will not know what it is not to eat a meal unless you've been there. You will not know what it is for kids to go to school and eat lunch at school and eat breakfast at school and then have to know that, hey, this is my last meal after lunch. I won't get another meal after this. Right? I will starve, right? Till tomorrow morning at the same time. Right? Kids are our future. I believe that kids are our future. And I'm going to say this. Kids are our future. I go to nursing homes. I've been in nursing homes in my life and seen people. And if we don't take care of these kids that are growing up, they're not going to take care of us. They're not going to do it. Because if you look at a nursing home, you've seen people in there who did not take care of their kids and who took care of the kids. And you know who took care of the kids and who didn't, because based off the visits that they get. They have to work, so they don't have time to get mom and dad into their house. They don't have time. They're single individuals. Some are married, right? And they're doing what they can with what they have. Then you have some folks who don't get visitors, right? They were that parent that would dominate, like, hey, I got it all, y'all. I got the cars, I got the house, I got everything I want. I don't need none of y'all, right? And now their kids are far gone. And all they want their kid to do, they want to pick up the phone and call their kid to come see about them, right? Because they don't want to die alone. So that's what I'm telling you. Help these kids now, America. Help these kids now, America. Help them. Because years later, you might be a state official now. You might be the greatest congressman. You might be the greatest president. You might be this. You might be that. But somewhere along the line, if you don't take care of folks, they're not going to take care of you. You don't take care of this country, the country won't take care of you, period. Right? I'm a veteran. Right? And people say, why would we say that? I'm a veteran. Right? And you give your all to a country that's divided. You give your all to a country who doesn't like you because of the color of your skin, right? You serve to the man and the woman next to you who doesn't like you because of the color of your skin or because of how your hair looks, right? But at the end of the day, those same folks that don't like me because of maybe my color of my skin or because of my hair or because I don't have freckles, maybe because I have I don't know what it is. But at some point in life, you're going to need help, whether that's with Social Security, whether that's with just filing some paperwork, and you might be so old, right? You might be so beat up. Your body might have went through this beat up process, and you need help. You're slow to walk. You're slow to talk. You're slow to think. And the same person you're hating on is the same one that's got to take care of you. America, do better. Do better. Take care of your home first. And that's why, I'm not going to get into religion, but that's why I believe in what I believe in, because God took care of his first. And what I mean by that, he took care of his family, his kids, his generation of folks first. And then he's going to take care of all the others, right? So that's as a human being, as an American, right? It's not about a flag, guys, ladies and gentlemen. It's not about the flag. It's not about that, man. It's not. Because we can have the flags flown all day, but we'll still have homelessness people in our country if we don't help them out, right? Yeah, people make mistakes and they go to be homeless. Okay, so what? And they made their mistake. Let's help them get over that mistake. This country don't want to do that. We're all about the dollar. We're all about this. We're all about how much can you pay me for me to help you. That's my time, folks. Today, I want you to today's objective for today is just to make a difference in your community, make a difference in your life, make a difference in someone else's life, whether that's talking, building someone up. Maybe that's calling your family member that you didn't talk to in years. Maybe that's when you see a group of kids, make sure they're doing fine. Hey, how are you guys doing? Maybe your neighbor is going through some stuff, but you won't know because you don't talk to them. Maybe it's just saying to your neighbor, say, how you doing? Right? You ain't got to get into the business. How you doing? Right? What you say determines outcomes, believe it or not. You say hi to someone, it makes a difference. People see me around town. Sometimes they see me with my merchandise on, my hat, my shirt, my everything, and they talk to me and they say, I'm just a regular person, but I'm gonna talk back. I'm not gonna sit there and ignore you and think that I'm the highest thing, right? So that's my time for today. I hope you enjoy this talk on this lovely Monday. Thanksgiving's right around the corner. It's a couple of days from now. But I want to make sure that you all have a great day and that you all remember there's homeless people in America. So the next time you go to your prayer classes or whatever, make sure you pray for the homeless, right? And make sure you pray for leaders so that they can help these homeless people out and that we don't have to have homelessness in America like at an all-time high. Pray for people that they don't have to go live in a hotel and thank God that you don't have to live in a hotel, right? Because there are people that live in the hotels because they can't afford a house, but they're doing what they got to do. So I don't fault them for that. They have kids. They have the future sitting with them, and that's their kids. Their kids are the future, right? And if they see that parents are going to be able to take care of them through the hard times, man, they deserve the world. So Peace out again. It's David, aka Preacher Man, from the Fraser Chronicles, and I'm out, y'all.